At the walk, like the majority of the motion is from back to front in my seat. You don't want to be like going like this in the walk, like that's not correct. Most of the motion is from back to front, but there is a slight side to side with your pelvis as the horse lifts and puts that hind leg down. Right. Hello everyone, I'm Amelia. I'm here with Stephanie today. She's our resident physical therapist. So I'm going to show you guys an exercise to help you feel your pelvis a little bit in the saddle better and to help you feel your horse's hind legs, because I know that's something that a lot of you guys, like, you want to feel your horse's hind legs more so that you can engage your horse's hind legs and influence your horse's hind legs, but sometimes all we feel is like the horse's neck. So I'm going to show you a quick little exercise that you can do to feel your horse's hind legs, and then Stephanie is going to explain to you the anatomy of why that works. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the anatomy of your seat and of your pelvis in the saddle, because she has some super interesting insight to share with you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk away from the camera, hopefully in a straight-ish line. And so in the walk motion, there's a side to side motion of my hips, and there's also a forward to back motion. What you're going to do is you're going to put your reins in one hand and you're going to raise up your opposite hand. So here I have my left hand raised. What I want you to feel is your left seat bone is going to drop, slide forward, and lift. So drop, 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 drop. When my left seat bone drops, that's when her left hind leg is coming forward. So let me turn around and walk back towards the camera. So when my seat bone drops, 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 that's how I know the left hind leg is coming off of the ground. When my seat bone lifts on that left side, so it's lift, lift, that's when she puts the weight down on her left hind leg. So this is a really good exercise to help you guys just feel your pelvis in the saddle and to feel what your seat should be doing to follow that walk motion. And then of course you want to do both sides, especially if you have a tendency to collapse on one side or the other. Raising your hand above your head is a really good exercise. So now I have my right hand lifted and I'm trying to get in time with her right hind leg. So I'm feeling drop, drop. I'm feeling my seat bone drop, slide forward, and lift. Drop, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift. I have a harder time for sure feeling the right seat bone as opposed to the left seat bone. But play around with this and start to feel if you can feel like that little swing in your pelvis. It's important to note that at the walk, like, the majority of the motion is from back to front in my seat. You don't want to be like going like this in the walk, like that's not correct. Most of the motion is from back to front, but there is a slight side to side with your pelvis as the horse lifts and puts that hind leg down. So I'm going to have Stephanie explain that. And maybe what you can do, Stephanie, is can you just show how, like, when you're standing there, if you lift up a leg, how that drops your hip on that side. So like lift your right and it drops your hip. Now lift the other one. So that's what you're feeling when you're riding, is when your horse lifts up a hind leg, their hip a little bit drops on that side. Now you don't want to accentuate that motion, right? Because just like us, when we're walking, we don't want to be like this too much because we want to use our core to stabilize ourselves. But you do feel a slight side to side as your horse lifts up their hind leg. They a little bit drop that hip on that side, and you feel that in your pelvis.
While doing this exercise, why do we lift the arm up? Here's why. What happens is because the arm is up, it's actually increasing the force down all the way into the seat bone. So it's making it more pronounced for you when the horse brings the hind leg up. It's increasing the weight down into the seat bone. Because we ride without our arms up, it makes it a little bit more subtle. So the goal of this exercise is to accentuate that force and that weight down into the seat bone so you can feel it a little bit more and get your brain a little bit more connected to that seat bone. So let's talk about pelvis anatomy really quick. Classically, it's been taught that you should feel the tripod, so both seat bones and your pubic bone. However, there's variations between everyone's anatomy. For me personally, if I were to try and feel my front pubic bone here, it would actually put me in a really bad anterior pelvic tilt to be able to feel that, because my pubic bone's a little bit higher and it would cause me to arch my back too much. When that happens, I've had several riders ask me about rubbing on the pubic bone area. And if that's happening to you, definitely get a professional out to help you check your alignment in the saddle, whether it's a trainer, another physio, a saddle fitter, because it shouldn't be rubbing and it should be feeling balanced between your seat bones. I would say as a physio, it's more important to focus on the two seat bones than actually the front part of the pelvis. That's there, you need to be aware of where it is. However, most of the weight should be in your seat bones. That being said, I have also had some riders tell me about getting rubs on both seat bones. Again, the same reason, check your saddle fit. If it's too big for you and you're sitting and moving too much in the saddle, that can create rubs there. And you may be putting too much weight into both seat bones. So again, that's another reason to seek out a professional's help. Seek out a physio that rides, seek out a trainer, a saddle fitter. But be mindful that not everybody is cookie cutter, and although it is taught to have the 3 points, you may fall out of that spectrum.
Do what's comfortable for you, but it always, like when you first get in the saddle, you want to kind of check in and feel your two seat bones and make sure, like if you put your hand under your bum here, that you feel your seat bone pointing down. If you like rotate too far forward or rotate your butt too far back, you're not going to be able to feel that seat bone. So that's a good way, is to just kind of feel like you get your seat bones in the saddle before you start your ride. And yeah, if you're having like any kind of rubbing or chafing, then you're probably trying to sit too far forward.